Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. Got a great show lined up, a special guest here. But first, let's take a look at our weather brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, Drew Pollard, and a hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. And I hope everyone had a big 4th of July. I know some of y'all probably ate too much yesterday, including me and everybody else, but it's just been always a special time on July 4th. But we're glad to be back and hope you're ready for some good Panhandle Outdoor shows coming up. Our water temperature is 83 degrees. It's been bouncing between 82 to 84, but it's been really warm. Our air temperature now is going to be 90 degrees today, but the low is 79. So keep an eye out on that hot weather. I don't have the river readings this morning. We're just trying to get back into normal, so we'll have the river readings tomorrow. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tides on July the 5th. Check it out. We have the high tide at 11:55, right in the middle of the day. It's coming in all morning. Right in the middle of the day will be high tide, and it's going to start going out. And it's going to be low tonight at about 10:15. Our wind should be coming out of the west, preferably. It don't pick up until late in the afternoon, but it'll be in about 10 miles an hour. So it's going to be pretty steady. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with our guest. Welcome back and welcome to a familiar face here on Panhandle Outdoors. Dan Kirkland.
Good to see you, Winston.
Always great to have you here. And we got a big following when Stan's around because he's so well known.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm good. So, all right. And what have you been up to?
Before we get started, you have a faithful viewer. I had breakfast with him the other day. His name is Charles Nichols.
Okay.
He and his wife live on, I think it's Fairmont Avenue here in Panama City. Charles was 93 last week, and he watches your show every day. He mentions to me about he enjoys your show.
Oh, great.
And so anyway, but happy late birthday, Mr. Charles and Miss Juanita.
Happy birthday, Charles. We appreciate it.
He and I swap books. We both love World War II and the history. And we swap books and that sort of thing.
Oh, so cool.
Charles is a great guy.
That is interesting.
Yep.
All right, so what have you been up to?
Well, Winston, trying to do things in Lynn Haven at my house and then going up to my mom's 96 and a half. So I go up to her place in Jackson County. I was up there last week. The field temperature was 105, wow. And it was 95. I was up there, and it was brutal. But anyway, so
what all do you do when you get up there? What all do you do?
Well, I had to have a new freezer delivered the day. Well, actually, it came the day before, but Mom's freezer went out. I had to go to Mariana. Everything in Sneed's, you got to go to Mariana for it, just about, other than a grocery store there. But anyway, so medicine, stuff like that, and then, but she's got 2 acres, and I got her a zero-turn mower, and she doesn't ride it.
You got you a zero-turn.
I got me, but I told her it was her Mother's Day present. But anyway, so but I try to see her at least once every 7, 8 days, something like that.
I know you're so good about it. I talk to you a lot. A lot of times I talk to you on the way up there, on the way back.
Right.
And that's a great thing to be. I know.
Well, my mom was always good to me growing up, and she took care of us not-headed young'uns. And so that's the least I can do is take care of her. My father passed away some years ago. But anyway, hunting and fishing, I still enjoy that. I went back in the spring turkey season, I killed one nice bird, and I killed a real fine bird. Actually, the opening day, I hunted in the rain, and people told me I was crazy. I was sending my family a photo. I should have sent you this one. I'm sitting in the rain on a stool, and I'd called in 2 hens, but they actually came in the rain. But anyway.
Well, that is so typical of a loyal, dedicated turkey hunter.
Well,
It's just a special breed of turkey hunter that the rain ain't gonna stop you.
No, I was going, and but late that afternoon, I hunted all day. I didn't move till 1 o'clock. I sat from before daylight till 1 before I ever moved. But I did. I actually saw a nice gobbler, but he wouldn't come in. But I was able to. The next day I went back. It had turned cold overnight. It was 37 degrees.
Whoa.
Yeah, wouldn't we love that right now?
Yeah.
But I went back the next morning, and like I say, when I got out of my truck before daylight, it was 37, and then I could, and I got in the edge of the woods, set up, built me a little blind, and I hadn't even yelped or anything, and I just happened to look about 1/4 of a mile away, maybe 1/8 of a mile, I don't know. And I could see his old blue head when he came to the edge of the woods. It looked like a light almost.
Oh, my goodness.
I just clucked to him a time or two, and it was like reeling me in. He came. They're not always like that.
That's a pretty easy one, right there.
Yeah,
Compared, you sat there the day before all day.
He was. Yeah, it was.
How long did it take him to come close enough to shoot?
Less than 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
He just took his time, but my heart was about to beat out of my
Is this
chest.
him here?
Yeah, that's him. It's a real nice bird. He had almost 11-inch beard, but
Whoa.
a real nice bird.
Wow.
And he came in, and I had 4 jakes and two hens. The hens came in behind me after I called. I looked up and saw the turkey coming. And then I caught movement, and I turned my head real slowly, and I had 2 hens within 15 feet of me, looking for me. And I said, "Oh my goodness, I am busted." And
yeah.
But they saw him coming, and here they go, and it was anyway. But yeah, I just had a great season. I didn't hunt I did not hunt again until the 4th week of the season.
Well, what happened?
Well, I just had stuff to do.
Okay.
I had stuff at home. I had, just stuff to do. And
I understand that. That gets in the way of a lot of outdoorsmen.
Yeah.
Stuff to do. I get caught up in the same thing.
I know you do.
I know we do. So let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with Stan. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with our good friend and outdoorsman and retired FWC public information officer, is so well respected in his field. So we're just always glad to have Stan come on, and we always run out of time. So we're glad you're here.
Thank you, Winston. And I want to say this too, while I can. Congratulations about them building a Winston Chester outdoor. What is the correct name?
Well, it's that.
I know you don't want to talk about it.
It's outdoor ed room. That's what I call it.
It is. For people that don't know, Winston started an outdoor education curriculum. How many years ago?
1993, 30 years ago.
And in fact, you would have us come on occasionally, come to your classroom occasionally, but you did it all. You taught boating safety, you taught hunter ed, you had visitors come in, but my kids still know how to throw a cast net. And when you live on the Gulf Coast, you don't get those kind of opportunities very often.
Stan was so good about coming on as an FWC officer, and I know at times he would show how he, grading the deer point, measuring the. And showed each kid how to do it. That was very interesting. He was always so good about coming on as one of our guest speakers.
When they finish this coming year, that is such an honor because so many schools, and I've heard that the other people are now asking, how did y'all do this?
We are getting, we're very, very proud of that fact. We hope we can spread it. It's all good stuff, and we hope we can. So that's good. So I thank you very much.
But that's good. That is good stuff.
Appreciate it. So you had a good spring hunting season. Now you come into the summertime, spring and summer fishing.
I did. I love to fish even in April, but I didn't fish this year. Water's cold. I love to wade fish. Winston, I've had the best spring fishing for trout, redfish, and flounder. The last trip I made, we probably caught. I have a friend that goes with me. Indy Skates, we probably caught 20 redfish.
Oh, good.
On light tackle, but we didn't keep one of them.
Yeah.
We turned them all loose, but we, on a previous trip, I caught 2 nice trout. I had one that was 19 inches. Well, we actually had one 19, one 22, and then the previous trip, yep. There's
Was this one of them here? Let me see.
Yeah, that's one of them. That's from the last trip, I think. That's just, and that's not a great photo. That's out of the ice chest. I gave one of those to a neighbor, and I kept one for myself. But those are such great trout. That 22-inch trout there on the left probably weighed three and a half pounds, maybe 4 pounds. But
that's a good meal right there.
And we probably caught 15 trout, and we released all of them except. We kept 2 fish, and some people say you should release them all, but no, I love to eat fish.
I don't believe that.
You know, your bag limit's 3 per person. Yeah. We could have kept 6 fish. We didn't do that. We just, kept 2 fish.
You and I feel the same about that. You're going to release some of them, but you're going to keep enough to eat. I mean, because it's healthy.
It is. The last trip I made, I caught a 28.5-inch redfish. Whoa. A big red. It was out of the slot. Of course, you can't keep them when they're that big. Yeah. But I'll tell you, that reel of mine,
was a fight, wasn't it?
It was a fight, and got it up, got it released, and she was healthy, or he or she, I guess she was healthy. I released her, and so anyway, it caught flounder, but most of the flounder I've caught are too little. They're not large enough. They have to be 14 inches to keep them, and I just.
That's something else on the limit. It went up on. It used to be 11 inches for you.
12.
12. It used to be 12 inches. We used to get a lot of 11 inches, and now it's 14. So now we're getting a lot of 13 inches.
Yes, most of these fish I caught were between 12 and 13 and a half inches, and
so next year they should be big enough.
Well, if they make it, I hope. But anyway, But
that's been doing good. You go there and you cast and get your live bait. You do it old school.
I do it old school. There's really 2 ways to fish inshore. It's either use live bait or either use artificials. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will throw jigs, soft plastics, but I use live bait. I love taking a cast net. I know, I had a great mentor when I first moved here, a guy named David Barnes. David taught me, and he was younger than I was, but he kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to fish.
Oh, my goodness.
And everybody needs somebody like that.
From up here at Durango Park, Highland Park, that David Barnes, had a brother named Kenny Barnes. Was that
David, well.
Daddy was Howard Barnes?
No. Okay. That's a different group.
He's an outdoorsman, too.
He is. I know who you're talking about. This David actually lives in Lynn Haven, takes care of his mom. But he took me, though, and showed me how to throw a cast net, and I didn't even know how to throw a cast net when I first moved here 4 years ago. But I catch bull minnows, and then I catch also rain minnows. Yeah. And anyway, and you just use a hook and a real light bullet weight and about a 2-foot leader. And you fish these sandy spots, you wade. The most important thing, though, 2 most important things for people who love to do this kind of fishing is, one is the tides. You mentioned today the tide is going to be high at 11:30 roughly. You go early, you fish while that tide's coming in. That's wonderful. I hate this when it's high tide at 7 o'clock and I got to get up at 3:30 or 4 because that's rough. But anyway, but the other thing is the water temperature. It is getting so warm now, and warmer water doesn't hold as much oxygen as cooler water. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of your fish, like trout, redfish, and flounder, they're staying out of that shallow water, which I can access by wading. They're out in deeper water, and so they're not really accessible to you as it gets hotter. And it'll be probably September before or maybe 1st of October before that water will begin to cool down and they'll move back in. But it really makes it tough this time of year.
You just keep your bait behind you in a little basket?
I carry it, yep, live bait bucket. And
how do you like to hook your bait?
A lot of people hook them in the back, but I don't. I hook them through the lips. Yeah. And you know, all you got to do is find those holes. I don't throw into the grass, I throw into the holes. And if you'll just move it just a little bit, you'll feel them pick it up. And flounder bites differently though. People that know this, they bite differently than a trout or a redfish. A redfish a lot of times will pick it up and run with it. And the first time you know you got a D9 caterpillar on the line, it's when he's taking off the other way with it. But sometimes you gotta deal with other things like bluefish, and they've got teeth, and I like to use real light monofilament leader, but they'll bite your leader in too. And I talked to a friend the other day who was casting at daylight, and he had two $11 or $12 plugs, and bluefish took both of his plugs and bit his line in two. And
that's aggravating.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's take a final break. I'll be right back with Stan. Okay, welcome back. Our guest Stan Kirkland today. We're tickled to have him. Let's take a look at our fishing game times brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. And folks, they've got a lot of tackle down there, so check them out. Okay, we're looking at our times, 1:42 to 3:42 this evening from 2:12 to 4:12. Real quick to finish up our fishing, I know you go through periods of time too when they're biting and when they ain't biting. So those times are important.
Yeah, and you just watch the tide and the water temperature. The water's getting so warm now, it makes it really tough.
It does. Okay, I got an announcement. We got to share this. We just got it from FWC, sort of a quick thing going right here. Check it out. FWC and Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Sciences.
Consumer Services.
That's okay. And partner agencies to conduct a public meeting to discuss chronic wasting disease in North Florida. It's going to be, it's going to be tomorrow night, sort of a late notice, but get the word out. It's going to be at the Bonifay K through 8 school at the auditorium, and from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So, Stan, I know you, in your career, you've been around deer and all, and it's been a career around it, so this is pretty serious stuff.
It is. It is the worst news that you can't imagine how it sent a shudder through the hunting community, as well as Fish and Wildlife, as well as Department of Ag. Chronic wasting disease is in the same family of diseases as mad cow disease, which mad cow disease is transmissible to people. Chronic wasting disease so far has shown it is not, cannot be passed from deer to people. However, they're still advising people if they know their deer is positive for it. But it was found in Holmes County, it was diagnosed in Holmes County, and I can assure you FWC has got a full court press on trying to collect animals right now and see how far it's spread.
So be sure and attend that meeting tomorrow, especially up in that area. You going to try to go? Or?
I am going to go. I'm retired, but I just want to learn as much as I can about it. And Florida's the 31st state to have chronic wasting disease. It affects mule deer, white-tailed deer, elk, caribou, moose. I'm probably leaving out
we had
something.
Steve Shea on about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And he did. He covered a lot of that and
Good.
got a lot of comments on it. In fact, the FWC commented on they were proud to get him, talking about this and all. And
good.
And they're limited as to what they can say because it's not scientific. It's not just fact yet, other than it's just about one deer, but they feel sure.
Well, it's going to have implications.
Yeah.
And the implications, I'll say this in the short time we have left. One is you're not going to be able to move deer out of that zone, and they have established a zone.
I've got it.
You're not going to be able to move whole deer. You're going to have to process your deer according to what I've seen. You're going to have to process your deer before you move them out of that area. They don't want the disease organism, which is in the spinal cord and the brain tissue, they don't want it to affect other deer.
Now here's the zone right here we're talking about, okay? We showed it before. It's 231 on the right side, on the left 81, and then the Alabama state line. So this is This is what you're talking about right
and
here.
they're also going to probably, I don't know if they've done it yet, but they're going to actually, I do know they have banned supplemental feeding in this area.
Yes.
So if you ran feeders, gravity feeders, spin feeders, whatever, or trough feeders, you can't do that anymore.
And here's what I'm hearing from people knowledgeable. They're saying this area is going to expand probably in a year or two. It's probably going to expand because
certainly.
It's almost certain that happen. So just be well aware of that.
People need to attend this meeting. If you've got any interest in managing whitetail deer hunting, you need to attend this meeting and ask questions. Come prepared to ask the FWC questions.
Yeah, and the big thing is uncertainty of it. But one thing we know for sure though is here, and it's going to get worse. It
was actually diagnosed in Florence, Alabama, about a year and a half ago, which is 250, 300 miles away. Yeah. It has nothing to do with this, but Alabama Game and Fish has been able to show it has expanded, and they're finding more animals. And the belief is it's going to do the same thing here. It's going to, because it's a prion disease, it's a protein disease, and deer can transmit it from one deer to the other by saliva, eating. And that's why they're talking about a ban on feeding, supplemental feeding.
We're going to see that. So try to attend the meeting tomorrow.
Right.
If not, talk to somebody who has gone and all this. So we'll you let me know. I'm going to be out of town probably tomorrow. But anyway, we appreciate you going. We're about to run out of time. You going to fish anymore the rest of this summer? You got some big.
I am going to fish. I don't know.
You don't know when.
The water's so hot. But I am.
You're a morning fisherman. You like to fish.
I love fishing in the morning, and I try and catch the tides just right, and love that wade fishing.
All right, well, Stan, thank you, buddy. Always
thank
great
you.
to see you.
Thank you, Winston.
All right, and we're going to start wrapping it up for today. Make sure you stay tuned with everything now, what's going on in our environment and outdoors, okay? You do something good for someone else. You have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of the outdoors. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.